Sorry, guys. I'm back because sorry, y'all. I don't know who wanted to mess with my flow. Anyway, if you're here, let me know you're here. Say something, ask a question. I'm just eating a snack. I actually make my own cookies like almost every day. Sorry. Give me 1 second. I definitely lost my train of thought. And my goodness, is it rude that I'm eating on live? But yeah, I mean, love yourself first, recalibrate. Let me know what was actually happening this last week. Tell me, talk to me. I think what I want is, I definitely, and I don't want to say this and then it doesn't happen, but my desire or my intention is to go live definitely more often and to like have people actually, you know, interact, ask questions. So I really appreciate you being here because it makes being live so much easier. It makes me feel like I'm actually having somewhat of a conversation. I need to tie my hair up, but it needs to be down because it's wet. But I forgot what I was saying, but I really wanted to say it. Oh, I think I was saying this thing about personality disorders. I think that's what I was saying. I'm pretty sure that's what I was saying. I think I was saying this whole idea of like, I was trying to express holding on to storylines and identities or personalities and how they animate themselves through your physical body. And I was giving the what's it called? The example of someone who has a personality disorder, or maybe someone who's schizophrenic. Now, of course, this is to the extreme, but it actually relates to every single one of us. Because in every now moment, you can exude or project a whole different identity, or you can let go of or pick up a whole different story. But with somebody who has a personality disorder, if they happen to be in personality A, and personality A believes that it's sick, it believes that it's sick, the body is going to show symptoms of this sickness. The moment that personality switches, because like you could literally go to the doctor and the doctor is going to see proof of this sickness in some way, shape, or form, proof of these symptoms. But the moment personality A and personality A's storylines get laid to rest and personality B comes online and personality B believes it's healthy and it's a whatever, it's a rock star, or it's an artist or whatever, then what do you think is going to happen? Personality B is going to channel those storylines through this vessel, right? And I can't remember if the thing did not freeze. I can't remember why I wanted to share that, but I was saying this is why meditation and getting still, being in stillness, being in that 0 point is so important, because you let go of everything and you merge. Well, you let go of these storylines and and like you're basically in a space of nothing. Oh, I remember, it's coming back to me. Okay. Sorry. Something happened earlier today and it raised hairs on my back of my neck. I was reading a book. She was sleeping. Aww. Aww. Sorry guys, I got a really, really sweet text message. Okay. Why I was saying this was because, okay, going back into meditation, you let this is important because this is important because I was saying, okay, when you go into that 0 point space, which is where I've been, like that last week, that first stage of alchemy, that black phase of alchemy, is where you strip away the storylines and you get back to your true pure essence. Okay, that is what the process of realigning with your core values is. It is you being in that black phase, going back to 0 point, you stripping away all the shit. Let's just call it shit, because it's old, and it's doing is like, it's festering. These identities, these storylines, it's festering. It either has you sitting in victimhood, which it doesn't mean that maybe you were, like, I'm not saying that you were not a victim. Shows up if there's like water and whatnot. It just turns into mildew. It's shit. It needs to be let go of. And so that black phase is basically what's happening. This is where the fire gets turned on and you start to burn away these impurities. You start to burn them away. It's so uncomfortable. And I'm pretty sure the pain in my back was a representation of that. So you think of your own self. What is showing up in your own body that you might think is just, it's just a pain, it'll go away. What is it trying to tell you? Because I'm pretty sure that pain in my back, the way it felt so fiery up there, and then what ended up happening, that pathway from the black phase into the white phase is where, after you burn away the impurities, you then take what's left behind, and then what do? You bring it through another stage of cleansing and you dip it into the water. You dip it into the water. For me, what was that? All the tears. You dip it into the water and then you allow the water to cleanse away any more impurities that may have been left behind, any more identities, any more storylines that are deep in the subconscious. Think of deep waters. Think of the ocean, of the sea that is deep below the surface. And then what happens? And then you move into the element of air. Now you're fully in this white stage. When you're in this stage, now you begin to say, okay, what is me? This is me. This is my core values. These are my core values. You're in a deeper stage of integration. And then moving into the red stage is more of like you grounding into this new phoenix identity that has just been rebirthed. That is what it is. That's that's what happens when you go into a meditation. I find it so annoying trying to like read the comments on the, like, when I'm actually on the live. So just give me a second. Let me open this up so I can just see it right here. Right here. Okay. Love yourself first, recalibrate. Okay, so you said last year was a truth and shedding phase for me and my partner's relationship. A lot of trauma and buildup couldn't contain itself in the container anymore. We had to deal with it before it happened. Yeah. I wonder what year were you in? What personal year were you in? That's what I wonder. Because sometimes when you know your personal year, you know, you can almost plan for what's coming up. This year that I'm in currently is the 5 year. And when you think 5, think Jupiter, think fire, think expansion, think wisdom. And you know, with expansion comes some uncomfortableness. I mean, when you think about, you said the word container, I always think about comfort zones. And if you, not just comfort zones, but it's called zone of tolerance. I think most therapists would know this, but your zone of tolerance is technically like your comfort zone. And if this is your zone, oh no, let me use my cookie. So if this is the zone of tolerance, don't laugh at my cookie, y'all. It's literally just like a banana peanut butter cookie that I mix together and throw it in the air fryer. I really like cookies, but the ones they sell in the stores, I gotta just make my own so I know that they're healthy and good. But anyways, think of this as like your comfort zone or your zone of tolerance. When you go to the edge of this zone, so the perimeter, what's happening when things are getting really uncomfortable, like you're being forced to like expand this cookie, to expand this zone, to move through it, you're not dissolving the zone, you're literally stretching it open. That is expansion. When you're stretching something open, it can be uncomfortable. And here's the thing, it's gonna happen regardless. It's a matter of, are you gonna allow it to happen or are you gonna make it rip you open? It's really that. It's really just that. And I like that you said, basically you just had to deal with it. You had to deal with it. And that's exactly what it is. And it brings me back to exactly what you said before. Adversity. That can be adversity. The stretching of this container, of the perimeter of this zone, can look like adversity. It could look like a tower moment. It can look like a breakdown. It could look like Pluto doing its thing, trying to, break you down to your purest essence. It could look like that. But the more still you become and the more truthful you become, doesn't matter how hard it is to express your truth. That part doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you're doing it. It becomes a lot easier for you to move through that expansion phase. The slower and the more still you become, it's almost like you just being able to deal with what you have to deal with in every now moment. Instead of looking at the whole room that you need to clean because there's clothes everywhere and everything is out of place, if you look at all of it, you're gonna get overwhelmed. You're either gonna fight, freeze, or fawn. Like nothing's gonna get done. But if you say, you know what, today I'm just gonna focus on my desk. We're just gonna focus on what we can bite today. Before you know it, you finish cleaning the desk and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on my bed. Let me take these clothes. Do you know what I mean? Like, just focus on what you can do in this now moment. Get very present and simplify. I think that is the best I could give anyone who happens to be in the in-between, who feels like their world is falling apart, who happens to be in this strong space of emotional unrest, is only to deal with what you can right now. And it doesn't matter if you feel like, but, you know, all these places need an answer from me right now. I need to get this done because next week, you know, this is happening and I gotta know. Let go of the story. Let go of those stories. Next week is not today. Next week is not today. Focus on what you can bite and eat right now. Move through the identity shift. Let go of all of that, and the easier it becomes to move through the identity shift. Because chances are you've been here before. This is not our first time moving through, you know, challenge or adversity. We've been here before. But you know what happens is we get better at sitting with our emotions. We get better at sitting with our emotions, tapping into our authentic truth and going back to a simplified version of ourselves. We just get better at it. But the more you resist it, the harder it becomes. What I was doing all weekend, last weekend, was resisting. It wasn't, and like literally my higher self, ancestors, whatever you want to call them, had to come to me while I was sleeping to give me this whole dream breakdown. So that way I can say, okay, higher self, what are you really saying to me? And then calm down. So that way the next day, the Monday, I was good. Monday, I was good. Not only was I good, but the video shoot that I had to do that I didn't even know I had to do until the night before, but the video shoot that I was doing, you know, my inner child got to come on, not the inner wounded child, okay? Inner confident child that was always there. Not the child that I had to let go of. The inner confident child got to come online, got to be present, got to be in her, you know, like, got to be in her, you know, play dress up. You know what I mean? I'm a Leo, like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I like to be that girl. And that's what I did. Sure enough, I was gifted a complimentary massage. And it was like, wow, I had done most of the work, letting go of that tension in my back. I had done most of the work because I had already sat with the emotion, sat in a stillness, and just allowed it, like focused on breathing into that space and allowed it to dissipate. But then I was gifted this whole massage out of nowhere. Wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it, but I was trusting. I was trusting myself. At that point, I was trusting myself. I was grateful for the experience. Love working with King Obi and his team. Love Oasis, where I go all the time to meditate. It was just like this like, it was like the perfect cherry on top of this like aftermath of what I went through. Let me see what you said here. A lot of blatant warnings were ignored. We knew better, but didn't do better. Unfortunately, a bomb was detonated in the relationship. Felt it coming, but it had to happen. Wow, yeah. Before the bomb went off, I had spirit guides yelling at me through synchronized numbers all day. Yes. I logged into Twitter and a blatant sign is the first thing I read. I refreshed the feed and another one. And another one just, I don't know what happened there, but it's okay. I got the message. That's exactly how it goes. You know what? Let me be straight up with you. Let me be straight up with you. When I was married, when I was with, you know, that person at the time, do you know how many times? And this is just this is my experience, not to say, you know, this is my experience, but do you know how many times the ancestors spirit came to me again in a dream, because that's how they speak to me in many forms, but dreams I seem I seem to receive that a lot easier. But anyway, you know how many times they came to me in a dream saying, you need to let this go? And me in the dream was like, no, he'll do better. It'll get better, please. Me in the dream, you know. When I finally am like in this like, what do we want to call this? Oh my gosh, what do we want to call this? Basically, I'm in this space where I'm speaking directly with the ancestors, and they're saying, sister, let's go. Like, I'm here to get you. And I'm like, no, no, it'll get better. And they're showing me, they're like, but look at what's happening. And they're showing me other dreams that I would never share here, but I share it I share these things in Soul Stream when they come up, like, because I created this membership group called Soul Stream. It was again, Spirit said, listen, what you need to do is create this space where you can just share your downloads like as they happen, like in the moment as they happen. And you know, whoever's in the group can receive this. We can meet once a month and da 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 da. But I won't share all the other dreams they were sharing with me, because it's just a little bit too personal for just anybody to come and fall on YouTube and hear. But the warning signs were there. The warning signs were there. And, you know, I didn't listen. Had I packed my bags and said, you know what, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to go. I know I went and I married you, and I really thought, because I believed, but really this is not what's being reflected. Clearly this is not it. But fear kept me there. Not wanting failure kept me there. Thinking things could get better, even though the receipts were there, they were only going to get worse. And so what happened? Spirit had to rip. The bomb had to detonate. Spirit ripped me out of the relationship. How did Spirit rip me out of the relationship? Rip me out of the relationship by me being detained. Me being detained, me being handcuffed, me being in a situation, in me adopting a karma that was never mine. It was never my karma. But by being, you know, you have to be careful sometimes who you're around, and who you're sharing your energy with, because energy exchange means just that. It means you're also exchanging karmas. Okay, that was never my karma, and sure enough, here I am. And they came to me While I was in there, I was only supposed to be there 3 days. I ended up being in there 3 weeks because they said, sis, you were not listening. And so you need to sit here until we say, and I'm not talking about the detention center either. When I say we say, I mean until the ancestors say, it's now time for you to leave. Because when I say I was only supposed to be there for 3 days because my situation was unique, and so therefore I wasn't allowed to have, an agent or someone that would help you figure out your paperwork and all type of shit. I wasn't allowed to have that. And they said you would, okay, you're here, you would go back home to Toronto, to Canada in 3 days. 7 days goes by, 2 weeks goes by, and I'm like, what can I do but be present and do or deal or like manage the things that I have. And all I had was my wisdom, my practice, and just me as the natural tuning fork down. And so what did I do? I shared that. Did I want to do all that? No. Because I was upset, because I was scared, because I was sad. So many things. I was sad that I knew this relationship was now going to be over. Because obviously when you get detained, clearly now you're banned from the country. I knew this relationship was going to be over. This very thing that I had been avoiding, even though I was freaking being eaten alive from the inside out. But I was avoiding it for so many reasons. I had dreams. When I was in there, I had a dream that I found a way to like get out and leave. Spirit said, you need to turn around and walk your ass back inside. And this is all happening in a dream. And it wasn't until finally in that 3rd week did I have another dream where they said you will be home by Friday, and they showed me exactly how I would get home by Friday. They showed me exactly what I needed to do in the dream. And it was all hell breaking loose in there. We're not even going to go in depth into this story, but it was all hell breaking loose in there. And I said, oh no, I'm going to have to do that thing that I saw myself do in the dream. I'm going to have to trust. I'm going to have to listen. I'm going to have to listen, because if I don't listen, I'm going to be in here a lot longer than I should be. And I listened and I did the thing. And sure enough, I was home by Friday. And this is why I will never, ever, 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 ever shun a message, shun my intuition, shun my ancestors, shun spirit. I will never do that again. Spirit said, let go of so-and-so. Bye. Spirit said, cut all this shit out. Bye. You know what I'm saying? I'm that finger of God right there in the chart. That finger of God. Oh my gosh, I will bow down to it. I might not understand. Spirit said you need to move to Ghana. Bye. Bye. Because we done learned. We done learned. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see what you're saying here. Okay, so you said minutes later, one of the tarot card readers I'm subscribed to drops a video. She said, pick 4 signs, something like that. She said, pick 4 signs, and she will give a reading on what she feels from them. I picked my sign. Okay, and everything she said was spot on. I told my partner to pick one of the 4 signs without watching the video, and everything was spot on again. I was shaking, but wasn't surprised because, okay, the story's coming. But to like my own video. Oh my gosh, this is fun. This is actually fun. Trying to hear the rest of this story. Love yourself. But yeah, y'all, when the messages come in, you listen. When the emotions come up, you sit in it and you feel it. You feel it, you respect the information that is being presented, because that is all that it is. But you respect that information, and then you move accordingly. You move once the higher answer is received, and you moved accordingly. You see what Love Yourself is saying here? That she kept getting the message, and in the 11th hour, she was like, nah, we gotta listen now. We gotta move. We gotta do the thing. In the 11th hour. Me, in that story I just told you about the detention center, I didn't listen in the 11th hour. I didn't listen. And because I didn't listen, because I didn't listen, extremes happened. Extremes happened. And I vowed that I would never do that again. I would never do that again. So now when Spirit speaks, I listen. When Spirit said, you did this yoga mat thing, it's time for you to let it go. It is time. I said, are you sure? Because I'm on a roll. I got something going right now. Spirit said, no, but it's awesome. It's a great thing, but we know why you created that thing. We know you created it because you were too afraid to be seen. And so you thought that a yoga mat could be a better product or representation of you rather than it being you having to show up and be seen. And I had to say, you know what? All right, cool. We're going to let it go. We're going to move past it. We did that. We've been there, did it. We're creatress. We're going to create something new next that's going to be even more in alignment with who we are. That's going to stand the test of time. You know what I mean? We're the creatress. What I am here to create is not a product. I am here to create myself. Okay? I am here to create myself. I am here to reinvent myself however many times I need to be reinvented. This is what I am here to do. This is what the whole yod is there for. The double yod at that is a continuation of reinventation, if that's a word. I kill myself sometimes. Like, I really make myself laugh. But it is a constant like rebirthing of myself, a constant creation of myself. Okay, she said, oh, no, it didn't come through yet. All right. Whew, man. Anyways, if you're feeling this, guys, I don't know, drop a heart, drop a one, drop a something in the chat. Drop something in the chat. I can't believe it's already been another 34 minutes. I thought I was going to be live for 20 minutes. It's already been an hour and a half. But I definitely need to do this more often. Whatever is resonating with you, like, leave your comment, like, just say something. Say something, let me know. If you're catching this on the replay, drop a comment down below. Let me know that, like, this is resonating. Let me know what's coming up, because you saying it is just reaffirming to your own self. You being able to say, like, you know what, this is what's coming up for me. And you don't have to comment it here. I mean, it helps me, it helps my channel, it helps me know what y'all like and what you want more of. But even if you just write it down in a journal or just jot it down somewhere real quick, it's reaffirming to yourself. You know what I mean? So whatever is coming up, just take a moment to jot it down in your journal. Let it be reaffirmed. Let it, marinate through your being. And oh, okay. Here it comes. She said, I already known everything I needed to know for a long time. I just don't want to accept it. During this time, our daughter got neglected because of what we were going through. We had to heal and, oh my gosh. Wow, that is a big, let me sit with that for a second. I feel like that's such a big truth to realize. I think it's such a big truth to admit to yourself. And so, I honor that within you. Even you saying that here, I genuinely honor you sharing that. Because it is a big truth, and sometimes we don't realize the people and just parts of ourselves that get neglected when we are refusing to accept certain things. It's a big truth when we do finally say, you know what, I can see this happening. And you know what, even though, and it's always going to be fear. It's always going to be some kind of a fear that stops you from accepting something. Maybe fear of feeling like if you accept something, then, something changes. Maybe you have to, like, something big changes. Maybe you feel like, if you accept this thing, you won't be able to show up, the way you won't be able to show up for the people around you, or whatever your mind tends to tell you. Whatever your nervous system tends to tell you, because that's all that it is you trying to protect yourself from the unknown. That's all that it really is you trying to protect yourself. And the paradox in that is you're not even protecting yourself. That's I'm pretty sure the word is paradox, is like, you think you're protecting yourself, but really you're not. Really you're not. And you know what? Just from what you said here, you were saying your daughter was neglected. It's a I think what I want to say is it is a deep reflection of life. I want to say it's beautiful for you to even be able to articulate that that's what happened to your daughter as you're navigating life. Because sometimes, like, as children, we're supposed to look up to our parents. Our parents are our gods, literally. And it's not until we become adults ourselves do we realize that our parents are just girls and just boys, the same way as you may or we may be a girl or a boy. It's not until then. And I always say, like, I wished that my parents were honest a little bit more about, honest with me a bit more about how much they didn't really know they were doing. Like, if you know what I mean? Like, I wish when my mom said, like, when I was younger, I was living with my mom until I was about 9 years old, and I started living with my dad. And that was the hardest thing for me because my mom was everything. She's my mom, right? And my mom said to me, oh, it's only for a little bit. It's only for a little while. But that wasn't the truth. It wasn't the truth. The truth was they had an agreement that when I became of age that I would live with my dad because my dad had more stability and my mom was a young mom. She got pregnant with me at 16 and there was a lot of growing up that she had to do. She basically went from being a child to a mother, and there was a lot of growing up she needed to do. And my dad had a lot more stability, which I get. I get it. It makes sense, right? But for me, 9-year-old me, 10-year-old me, 11-year-old me, especially with a strict father, I did not understand it. And to me, it was like my mom was neglecting me, and it felt like she lied. And because I had that image in my, not image, because I had that belief that my mom basically abandoned, neglected, and lied to me about the fact that I would only be with my dad for this amount of time. And it wasn't that I didn't want to be with my dad, but my dad, man, my dad was strict. My dad was strict. I wasn't allowed to do very much. He was strict, and rightfully so, right? He's a father with a girl child, like nothing wrong with any of that. He's doing his best as a single father. But like I just wish my mom and my dad told me the truth around, just them trying to figure things out as they were going. You know what I mean? Because I think parents feel like they need to have it all figured. And then when the child is sitting here like, but none of this makes sense because you're telling me one thing, but I'm an intuitive child. Like children are intuitive. Children know things. Children pick up on things. People think children don't know things, but children do. It's just better to be honest. I'm not saying you need to tell them all your problems because sometimes they internalize your problems. But I think being honest and even apologizing and saying, you know what, I'm so sorry. I probably didn't do this right. And if I could go back, I would do it this way. And I apologize if it made you feel X, Y, and you know what I mean? Just taking accountability. I should have just said that. Taking accountability. You said we had to heal and let go of expectation, projections, victimhood, etc. While all of that was on my mind for a while, I neglected my inner healing. Yes. Once that was over, once that was over with, then came back the stuff I was already dealing. You know, the symbolism there, because I think that's just how spirit speaks to me. That symbolism of neglecting the child made me think of probably your inner child, and that inner healing is what you said in the next sentence. But I was already dealing with, and it was very chaotic. Long story short, months later, our 17-year-old cat died. My mom hit me with a bombshell about my father, and even more popped up. What I realized is that everything, okay, here it comes, here it comes. That 8, 17 brings that 8 energy. 8 is power, probably power struggle. And it's interesting because 8 is also ruled by Saturn. It's that Saturn energy. Saturn energy is authority energy. And then that whole stuff around your father, you said, what I realized is that everything happened at the right time. I needed to go through all of this because I put myself in a lot of this. Now, how do I get myself out? Accepting that journey has been very beautiful. Sounds like someone that alchemized all of this, all the transformation. It sounds like certain identities definitely were peeled back, that you had to allow to be peeled back. Sounds like certain parts of yourself being revealed. And that's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it beautiful. Is all of this simply brings you back to yourself. Actually, the self that we think, the self that we thought was ourselves, only to realize it really wasn't yourself. It wasn't your true self. I mean, it served a purpose for a time, but you said no, you said, I was just letting life pass me by without taking control of it. There we go. There we go. It literally brings me back to this unconsciously making decisions. Unconsciously making decisions. And when you get to your raw, pure essence, which is uncomfortable sometimes, but when we get to that raw, pure essence, you realize, wait a second, what was all of this? Why did I do this? It is beautiful. It is a very beautiful unfolding, and it's part of your story. And I was gonna say, like, what comes up is like challenging you to tell your story through your own art, whatever that is. But to tell your story through your own art. She said, I do apologize for taking so long to message you. I just finished cutting up a boatload of fruit that I'm juicing. Cantaloupe, watermelon, pineapple. Girl, don't you worry. Don't you worry. I could use some watermelon right now. These days, watermelon is through the roof. Watermelon here in Ghana went from being 30 cedis, like in Canadian dollars, because I think in Canadian dollars, which is like $3. And now it was like, the last time I looked at watermelon, they were saying 100 cedis to 120 cedis, which is like $10 to $12. The way things, honestly, the way prices shift here in Ghana, I have never seen prices move so fast. The way prices shift. One day, you know, just to like take the if I go into Accra, which is about 3.5 hours away from me, and I take the bus, one day it's $8. 1 month later, it's what did I say, $8? No, it wasn't $8. What was it? I'm pretty sure one day it's like $6.5, 65 CDs, 75 CDs, $7.5. Next day it's $10. It's like crazy how prices shift here. It's super crazy. Sometimes I'm like wondering how the locals deal with it, to be honest. But yeah, no worries, love yourself. I appreciate you sharing, you know, part of your story, part of your essence here with me. I'm grateful. I appreciate you. And I love that. And I'm in gratitude. I'm in gratitude. Thank you for rapping with me, for sharing with me. You know, I'm grateful. And I think a lot of people can relate and learn. And that's all I'm here for, is like whatever resonates, whatever resonates with a person. And I'm glad that a lot of this is like mirroring your own growth and your own wisdom and your own self-understanding. And I'm very proud of you for how you handled everything and for where you stand now. You know, I can say I'm very proud of you. I'm never afraid to hand out just this like feeling of being proud, because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to move through these versions, and when we get through it, there's only an internal reward. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no real witnessing unless it's with your partner or your daughter, the people who are like really in your home. But for those of you who live alone, or, like I do, a lot of the like transformations that we go through are happening in the dark. They're happening beyond the veil. They're happening in this space, and they are not witnessed. And so whenever I see someone who's gone through it and who's come out of it bigger and better, more aligned, more themselves, I always have to say, like, I see you, and I'm very proud of you. I am very proud of you. Whew. But yeah, guys, I think I think this is coming to an end now. Things are quiet in my mind space. I think we shared what needed to be shared. We talked about what needed to be talked about. Oh, let me see what she said. Once you spoke about how it's nothing to rewrite a code, I just want to say you were never lying. You've been guiding others for years, and now it's my time to do the same. Ashe! Ashe, ashe, ashe. Yes. Yes, it is. It is your time. And it is nothing to rewrite a code, because identity is not set in stone. It is a fluid thing. We are codes. That is what we are. And all you got to do is tweak and just experiment with yourself. Tweak this, tweak that, and like shift your code. That's all that it is. And not be afraid to let go of something. It's okay if, and I'm using analogies here, but it's okay if you felt like your uniform last week, was this red dress like that you're wearing all the time. Like, this is your uniform, this is who I am, and all of a sudden you just want to burn the red dress. And now you want to adopt this like yellow jumpsuit. And this is the new uniform. Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing with who you are. It's the same thing. It's obviously a lot more different, and it comes with emotion, which can be very heavy sometimes. But when that heaviness is weighing you down, all you can do is ground. All you can do is ground. I think I said this in the video I posted of me musing with the brand and whatnot. And I said to you guys, when I was crying all of last week, is because there was just so much, and I'm calling it radioactive energy, but it was just like so much radioactiveness in my field. And leading up to that weekend, I felt like I needed to go to the beach. I felt like I needed to go to the beach and just stick my feet in the sand and just sit there like a tree and allow all this negative energy to just be drained into the earth, and then to allow the divine light codes to allow a new fresh consciousness into the body. But I didn't do that. And so certain things felt heavy. I was forced to sit down and get still. I didn't actually go and consciously choose to sit down and get still. I was forced to do it. And that's okay. That just happened to be my process. But identity is not set in stone. You are not set in stone. You are energy. Energy is fluid. It is always moving. It is always moving and holding a different structure every single day. You might look in the mirror every day and see the same person looking back at you, but I kid you not, every single day you look a bit different. You look a bit different because you're constantly flowing through new spaces or places or aspects of yourself that are constantly coming online. So yes, you want to You want to adopt the identity of it is your turn to share and uplift. You do that. You listen to yourself. You share your stories and you do it messily. You see, I'm showing up here inventing words, inventing words, laughing at my own jerks, laughing at my own jokes, corrupting words. Like, do it messily. Because what you think is mess is only going to make you more relatable to the people who are relating to you. You know what I mean? Like, do it in your own way. Don't look at, okay, how do I need to produce this business model? Oh, they say you got to do things this way. Don't do what I did. Don't do that. Just show up. And for those of you who maybe, maybe it's not your art to share in this way. Maybe it's your art to build something, to, whatever, to cut grass in beautiful ways. I don't know, but whatever that thing is, you allow your essence to just do exactly what it does. And here's like the mic drop. The mic drop is the more authentic, the more you allow your authenticity to come online, the more abundance flows into your world, the more abundance flows into your reality. And abundance could be currency, abundance could be money, but abundance is so much more than just that. Money is not everything. Abundance is wisdom. Abundance are your resources. Abundance are the people who happen to be in the same time, on the same timeline that you are, that your frequency is existing on or is holding. Abundance is joy. Abundance is so much more than just money, but it does not exclude money. It does not exclude currency. Abundance are the gifts that we receive. Abundance to me was the free massage I got on that Monday that I wished, like I needed that massage. I wanted that massage. But if I had the attitude of like, I'm processing all, like if I did not allow myself to process, I would have never fine-tuned my being onto the frequency that it was on for me to enjoy whatever it was that the day had for me to enjoy. I was looking forward to it that morning. And so therefore, the reality gave me something to enjoy. And I think that's the mic drop here. That's the mic drop here. Thank you guys so much for showing up and tuning in. I appreciate you. If you were here for both of the live streams, infinite gratitude, infinite love. I wish y'all, peace, stillness, happiness, joy, abundance, since we were just talking about it. And like I said, comment down below if you're showing up here and whatever is resonating. If you have any questions, if anything comes to mind, comment down below, because I really do want to come live more often. I think this is like more authentic for me. I don't gotta edit anything. I don't have to edit nothing. I could just go live, press post, and there it goes. So I like it. I love it. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.